News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Denise Pellegrini. National Guard troops ordered by President Trump are arriving in Los Angeles. President Trump sending at least 2,000 National Guard troops to restore order after protests over federal immigration raids in Los Angeles. At the federal building downtown, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says on X, Marines will also be mobilized if the violence continues. U.S. Representative Nanette Berrigan pushing back on the use of the National Guard, saying it could make things worse.
I've spoken to the sheriffs on the ground who have said they have things under control. There is no need for the National Guard. They have the manpower that they need. So this is really just an escalation of the president coming into California. We haven't asked for the help. We don't need the help. This is him escalating it, causing tensions to rise.
Bergen on CNN's State of the Union also expressing concern about an extended 30-day ICE enforcement operation accompanying the National Guard deployment. California Governor Gavin Newsom also objecting to the National Guard troops. House Speaker Mike Johnson, though, says he supports the move.
Gavin Newsom has shown an inability or an unwillingness to do what is necessary there, so the president stepped in. That's real leadership, and he has the authority and the responsibility to do it.
Johnson on ABC's This Week. And the unrest after U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement actions across the city. ICE says it arrested 2,000 undocumented people a day this past week nationwide, including 118 in the L.A. area. Major headlines in the tech space. Sources telling us Meta Platforms is in talks to make a multi-billion-dollar investment into the artificial intelligence startup Scale AI, and says the investment could exceed $10 billion in value. Bloomberg's Sarah Fryer says Scale has something Meta really wants as it focuses on so-called large language models, or LLMs, trained on massive data sets.
They have a really dramatic spending plan internally, $65 billion this year on AI, mostly driven by AI. And it's going to include promoting their internal model called Llama, which they thought they would be able to develop more quickly because it has some more open development terms. But it looks like they're reaching outside of the company for help at this point.
Bloomberg's Sarah Fryer there. Scale customers include Microsoft and OpenAI, and the investment would be Meta's biggest ever external AI investment. United Airlines says its team is working with Starlink to address a number of reports of static interference on the Wi-Fi system and expects the service to be back up and running soon on the affected aircraft. Starlink currently installed on about 24 United aircraft, according to the airline. We're hearing of changes at the U.S. operations for TikTok. ByteDance said to be replacing U.S. hired staff, this is according to sources near Seattle, with managers connected to China as the company tries, it says, to replicate its e-commerce success in Asia after sales fell short in the U.S. Westinghouse, according to the Financial Times, in talks with U.S. officials and industry partners about deploying reactors, 10 large nuclear reactors, to meet the goal of President Trump's executive orders on the atomic energy renaissance. Investors are also looking ahead to a report on U.S. consumer inflation. That comes Wednesday. The May CPI report will give Fed officials a key inflation reading before their next policy meeting later this month. New round of trade talks between the U.S. and China scheduled to take place in the U.K. tomorrow. Jimmy Lee, founder and CEO of the Wealth Consulting Group, sees reason to be positive about the talks.
Investors are betting on the idea that things will get resolved, which I think they will.
And Lee there, founder and CEO of the Wealth Consulting Group, on the Bloomberg Business Week podcast. Trade talks with India do appear to be gaining momentum. A trade team that's currently in the country for negotiations has extended its stay, according to sources who say most of the issues may get finalized within a week. And in sports, big drama at the French Open. Defending champion Carlos Alcaraz of Spain beating Italian Yannick Sinner in a 5-set thriller decided by a tie-break in the final set in the longest French Open final in history. So exciting. Some people posting on X, if you have a heart condition, you shouldn't watch. Many people calling it the best tennis they've ever seen. And that's News When You Want It with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Denise Pellegrini. This is Bloomberg.